this video, I'm gonna talk about the chapter 4 of Miller and Levine biology book. And what does the chapter 4 consist? The chapter 4 consists in ecosystems and communities. And inside this chapter, there are 5 subtopics that are climate, niches and community, interactions, succession, biomes, and aquatic ecosystem. And so, let's start.
4.1 Climate. Weather and climate. Weather is the day-to-day condition of the Earth's atmosphere. Climate, on the other hand, refers to average conditions over long periods. Factors that affect climate. Global climate is shaped by many factors, including solar energy trapped in the biosphere, latitude, and the transport of heat by winds in ocean currents. Latitude and solar energy. Near the equator, solar energy is intense as the sun is almost directly overhead at noon all year. This difference in heat distribution creates 3 different climate zones: tropical, temperate, and polar. The tropical zone is located between 23.5 north and 23.5 south. Temperate zones between 23.5 and 66.5 north and south latitudes. Polar zone between 66.5 and 90 north and south latitudes. Heat transport in the biosphere. The unequal distribution of heat across the globe states wind and ocean currents which transport heat and moisture. The niche. What's a niche? Organisms occupy different places in part because each species has a range of conditions under which it can grow and reproduce. Tolerance. Every species has its own range of tolerance. A species' tolerance for environmental conditions helps determine its address or habitat. Defining the niche. A niche describes not only what an organism does, but also how it interacts with biotic and abiotic factors in the environment. The term resource can refer to any necessity of life, such as water, nutrients, light, food, or space. For plants, resources can include sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. Competition. How does competition shape communities? When organisms attempt to use the same limited ecological resource in the same place at the same time, competition occurs. The competitive exclusion principle says that no 2 species can occupy exactly the same niche in exactly the same habitat at exactly the same time. Predation, herbivory, and keystone species. An interaction in which one animal captures and feeds on other animal is called predation. An interaction in which one herbivore feeds on producers is called herbivory. Changes in the population of a single species, often called a keystone species, can cause dramatic changes in the structure of a community. Symbiosis. Symbiosis means living together. Biologists recognize 3 main classes of symbiotic relationships in nature. Mutualism, kind of relationship between a species in which both benefits its own. Parasitism, relationship in which one organism lives inside or on other organism and harms it. Commensalism, a relationship in which one organism benefits and the other is neither helped nor harmed. 4.3 Succession. Ecosystems change over time, especially after disturbances, as some species died out and new species move in. Secondary succession in healthy ecosystems following natural disturbances often reproduce the original climax community. Ecosystems may or may not recover from human-caused disturbances. Biomes are described in terms of abiotic factors like climate and soil type, and abiotic factors like plant and animal life. Mountain ranges and polar ice caps are not easy to define in terms of a typical community of plants and animals, so they are not usually classified into biomes. The major types of biomes are tropical rainforest, tropical dry forest, savanna, desert, temperate grassland, temperate woodland, tundra, temperate forest, northwestern coniferous forest, and boreal forest. 4.5 Aquatic ecosystems. Aquatic organisms are affected primarily by the water's depth, temperature, flow, and amount of dissolved nutrients. Freshwater ecosystems can be divided into three main categories: rivers and streams, lakes and ponds, and freshwater wetlands. Estuaries serves as spawning and nursery grounds for many ecologically and commercially important fish and shellfish species. Ecologists typically divide the ocean into zones based on depth and distance from shore.